Goldilocks and the Three Bears. In a little cottage near a forest, there lived a young girl and her family. This girl had the shiniest hair you had ever seen, so everyone called her Goldilocks. One day, Goldilocks decided to go for a walk in the forest. She went deeper and deeper, and soon she came upon a small house hidden by trees. "I wonder who lives there," she thought. The house belonged to 3 bears. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear had gone for a walk and had left the door open. Goldilocks was so curious that she walked right in. As soon as she went in, Goldilocks saw 3 bowls of porridge on the table. By now, she was really hungry, and she decided to eat the porridge. She first tasted the biggest bowl of porridge. "This is too hot," she exclaimed. She then tried the middle-sized bowl. "This is too cold," she complained. Finally, she tasted the smallest bowl of porridge. This is just right," she said, and gobbled it all up. Now that her tummy was full, Goldilocks wanted to explore the little house. She walked into the living room and saw 3 chairs. "I think I'll sit down," she said. She sat first on the biggest chair. "Ouch! This chair is too hard," she said. She sat on the middle-sized chair, but didn't like that either. "This chair is too soft," she grumbled. She then tried the smallest chair. "Oh, this chair is just right," she said. But as soon as she sat down, the chair broke into pieces. But Goldilocks didn't care. She went up to the bedroom and found 3 beds. "This bed is too big," she said of the first bed. "This bed is too big too," she exclaimed for the second bed. But at the third bed, she cried, "This bed is just right. I think I'll take a quick nap." Soon she was fast asleep. Just then, the 3 bears came back home. "Someone's been eating my porridge," said Papa Bear angrily. "Someone's been eating my porridge too," cried Mama Bear. "Someone's been eating my porridge and they've eaten it all up," wailed Baby Bear. Looking around, Papa Bear was sure there was an intruder in their home. "Someone's been sitting on my chair," he growled. "Someone's been sitting on my chair too," said Mama Bear. "Someone's been sitting on my chair and broken it to pieces," said Baby Bear in tears. The bears decided to go to look in the bedrooms and catch the intruder. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed," Papa Bear said, his face red with anger. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed too," said Mama Bear. "Someone's been sleeping on my bed She's still there, exclaimed Baby Bear. Let's catch her. Just then, Goldilocks woke up. She saw the three bears staring at her angrily. She was so scared that she screamed and ran out of the room before the bears could catch her. We hope she has learned her lesson and will never walk into other people's homes and spoil their things ever again. Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, in a faraway forest, there lived a poor woodcutter, his wife, and their two young children. The boy's name was Hansel, and the girl was called Gretel. The woodcutter was so poor that the family had very little food to eat. So one night, the woodcutter's wife said, "We cannot take care of the children any more. You must take them to the middle of the forest and leave them there." The two children heard their parents talk and they were very scared. "We don't want to live in the forest," they said to each other. So the clever children came up with a plan to save themselves. That night, they quietly filled their pockets with tiny pebbles. The next morning, as the woodcutter took them to the middle of the forest, Hansel and Gretel dropped the pebbles all along the way. When their father left them, all they had to do was to follow the line of pebbles back home. The woodcutter and his wife were surprised to see the children back home. "We must take them again tomorrow," they said. Hansel and Gretel were very worried now. "All our pebbles are gone. What do we do now?" they cried. "I have an idea," said Hansel. "We can drop red crumbs this time." So the next morning, when the woodcutter took the children deep inside the forest to leave them there again, the children dropped crumbs of bread all along the way. But sadly for the children, the animals and birds had eaten up all the crumbs. Now Hansel and Gretel walked and walked but couldn't find their way back home. Suddenly, hidden in the trees, they saw a strange house made of candy, cookies, chocolate, and everything delicious. "This is a gingerbread house," cried Gretel happily. The children were so hungry that they started gobbling up the house at once. Now, this house actually belonged to an old witch who loved to eat little children. Just as Hansel and Gretel were eating her yummy door, she pounced on them and locked them inside. "I shall fatten you up and eat you," she said with a wicked laugh. The wicked witch locked Hansel in a cage. Then she turned to Gretel and said, "You, little girl, help me light the oven. When it is hot, I shall cook your brother and eat him up." Poor Gretel was so afraid. Gretel quickly thought of a plan to save her brother. Just as the witch bent to check if the oven was hot, she gave her a big push from behind. The witch fell into the oven with a scream, and Gretel quickly locked the oven door with the witch inside. Gretel rescued Hansel, and the two children filled their pockets with all the witch's jewels. Finally, they managed to find their way back home and gave all the jewels to their mother and father. Thanks to the clever children, the woodcutter and his family were never poor or hungry ever again.
Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jack who lived with his mother in a little cottage. They were very poor, and their only valuable possession was a cow that was too old to produce any milk. One day, Jack's mother decided that they had to sell the cow. She sent him to the market and told him to make sure he got a good price for it. On his way to the market, Jack was stopped by a mysterious old man.
I will give you this bean in exchange for your cow.
Why would I give you a whole cow for one little bean?
This isn't just any bean, it's a magic bean. It will grow into a beanstalk that touches the sky overnight.
That's impossible. Why should I believe you?
If my words don't come true, you can have your cow back tomorrow.
Jack wasn't really convinced, but what did he have to lose? He traded his cow for the magic bean.
Tell me, how much did you get for the cow?
Well, I traded it for this magic bean.
What? You gave away our only cow for a useless little bean. How could you?
Jack's mother was furious. She tossed the magic bean out of the window and sent Jack to the attic without supper. When Jack woke up early the next morning and looked out of his window, he saw something that hadn't been there before. A very odd-looking tree.
Oh, what is that? Can that be my magic bean?
Jumping out of his window, Jack landed on the magic tree and looked up.
Wow! The old man told me the truth! It really is touching the sky! Oh, I'm gonna check it out.
Curious to see where it led, Jack began to clamber up the beanstalk. After climbing all day, Jack finally reached the sky. There were fluffy clouds all around him, and in front of him was a magnificent castle. He was beginning to feel tired and very hungry, so he approached the castle's enormous doors and knocked as loudly as he could.
Is there anybody there? Can I please have something to eat?
Suddenly, the heavy door creaked open all by itself. Surprised, Jack went in and looked around. He had never seen anything so beautiful or so shiny.
Wow.
Finally, Jack found his way into the kitchen where he discovered a loaf of bread and some milk. Just as he was about to sink his teeth into its crispy crust, he heard loud, booming footsteps, and the entire castle shook as if there was an earthquake. Frightened, Jack ducked under the table. The next moment, a horrible giant entered the room with sacks of gold coins in his hands.
Fee-fi-fo-fum! I smell the blood of a human!
The giant looked around, but he did not see anyone.
Perhaps it's just the smell of the turkey I had last night. I am tired. I think I will go to bed.
As soon as the giant left the room, Jack emerged from his hiding place and made his way onto the table.
Wow! Look at all that gold! We will be rich now!
Jack grabbed 2 sacks of coins and leapt from the table. He crept through the giant's living room, quiet as a mouse, and ran back to the beanstalk. Jack told his mother all about his adventure and about the giant and showed her the sacks of golds. A few days later, Jack climbed the beanstalk again and went back to the castle. As he was sneaking around the castle, he heard the giant's booming footsteps again. He couldn't reach the table fast enough, so this time he hid in the closet.
Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Lay me a golden egg immediately! Abracadabra!
The hen obeyed instantly and laid him a shiny golden egg. The giant took it and left the room. As soon as the giant went away, Jack climbed onto the table and took the hen. He snuck out very quietly and ran to the beanstalk before the giant realized what had happened. Jack came home and showed the hen to his mother.
Look, Mom! It lays real golden eggs! Give me an egg! Abracadabra!
Obedient as before, the hen produced another golden egg.
Oh, Jack, stealing from others is wrong. You have to learn an honest trade and work hard for your living.
But we have a hen that lays golden eggs! We don't need to work!
Jack became greedier and greedier. and went back to the castle to steal more. When he came in, the giant was there, and Jack heard him talking.
Sing for me, abracadabra.
Suddenly, the harp began to play beautiful music.
This music is making me very sleepy. I will go take a nap.
As soon as the giant left the room, Jack climbed onto the table once again and carefully picked up the harp. To his dismay, the moment he took it into his hands, the harp began to shout.
Master! Master! Someone is trying to steal me! Master!
Hearing the harp's call, the giant rushed into the kitchen and spotted Jack before he was able to hide.
You! How dare you take my harp? Are you the same thief who stole my gold coins and my magic pen as well?
Jack slid between the giant's legs and ran for his life.
I will get you for this!
Jack slid down the beanstalk, the wind whistling in his ears. But when he looked up, he saw that the giant was coming down after him. Reaching the ground, Jack grabbed an axe and began to hack away at the thick beanstalk. With a loud crack, the beanstalk broke and came crashing down. Losing his grip, the giant came tumbling down with it and fell to the ground dead. That day, Jack learned an important lesson. He never allowed himself to become greedy again and understood that he had to work hard every day. Then he would live happily ever after.